at the time, this was pretty early on in his YouTube thing. Like he hadn't gone on his negative tirades or anything yet.
Boy.
But he seemed to be a bit, a guy that was just very much an idealist, like, and wanted to be an excellent martial artist, and he was training hard. He's training every day. He's into health,
Right.
and then he had a little bit of, like, I could see he had a little bit of crazy in him, because he would be he was doing kung fu dance and stuff like that in public, which people just don't do unless they want to get mocked and stuff.
Right.
But
Right.
so I knew he had a little bit of crazy in him, but
Right.
I thought it was the good kind of crazy. So I went ahead and contacted him, and I said, like, how can I get involved in what you're doing, and so I started training with him. At first he had a curriculum. He had these forms and stuff that he developed
Right.
that he wanted everybody to learn and this kind of thing. And I told him right off the bat when I came in, I said, I don't want to, I really don't want to get wrapped up in ranking systems and all that garbage. Again, like I've been there and done that stuff, and I'm just interested in training. And so he had to kind of reformulate what he was doing to make room for somebody that didn't want to follow his system, but that really maybe understood the philosophies behind it more than somebody that did want to follow it, because they get caught up in the rankings and such, right?
Right.
So pretty quickly after I got involved with him, he put me in charge of his YouTube channel,
Okay.
and I became like the manager of the YouTube channel, and then soon I also became the another instructor for the online students. I got a little ways into the curriculum myself, and then he's like, all right, you've mastered that part, so now you can you can train the next students that come from online. So he started recruiting online students, and then I would train them. So yeah, I was working with him, but then like we quickly ran out of curriculum because he had only gotten so far into actually designing this system of his, right? So so then when we kind of played out through his forms as far as they went, then instead of learning those, we just started doing online Skype training, and I would just join in his regular classes, and it was mostly fitness training, really. It was like, I don't. You've seen Freddie's stuff probably, but
Well, the thing is that I actually had my channel from '06,
oh yeah,
but I never really put up videos until 2009, and then I put up maybe like 2 or 3 videos, and then I went back in 2012. In 2012 is when I really started to upload more videos, and then I came across Freddie Lee, but I don't know if I actually like signed up to his channel, but I was seeing like a bunch of his videos, like videos every day, like tens and thousands of videos in my channel. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I would go online because I would see like 20 videos, 30. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I would look and I see him working out, and I said, okay, cool. And then I see he has a school, so I was like, okay, this guy has a martial arts school. Okay, that's cool. He seems very like he was doing something. He was on a positive vibe,
right.
He had the school, and then he had the YouTube channel. So I'm like, okay, man, this guy is doing something well.
Yeah.
And then, after a while, I didn't really pay attention to him for too much. But after a while, I started to notice he was kind of bashing against the MMA and the ground. Like he had something against the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like something against the ground game. Like he was talking crap about other people also. A bunch of other martial artists he was insulting.
Right.
It's random people he finds he wants to insult, he just insult them. And I was trying to figure out why is this guy doing that. As a martial artist himself, why is he? If he's a true martial artist, why is he insulting other martial artists? It doesn't make any sense. Like it makes him look bad.
Yeah.
I actually felt bad for him because I'm not sure if he understand, like what he was actually doing. I don't think he understands, man.
No, I don't think so either. And he continues to bash.
Yeah, I think he's still there bashing people. I think he still have a channel, some channel on the YouTube still. I don't know where, but he has something up there.
Yeah, he keeps putting on new channels, and they keep getting shut down. His main channel got shut down like as soon as I left. We had a falling out over jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And
I heard a podcast, and it's very ridiculous because he's being negative, he's being ignorant against the martial arts, where it's something that you can use. You can definitely use the ground game.
Yeah.
You will. I'm telling you, it's something that you're gonna need.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no running around it. There's no, I can just stand up, and then that's it. If you're gonna get into a fight or you have to defend yourself, sometimes you're gonna be on the ground, man. I'm sorry to say, that's just how it goes, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if somebody knows that you can't do anything on the ground, you're gonna maybe get in 1 or 2 hits before they bring you down there.
And I know the concept about I can shoot gun, I can stab the person, I can bite.
Yeah.
You can stab and bite, but while you're biting, you're gonna be hit. You're gonna be hitting the ground while you're doing all that. You're gonna be hitting the ground, and that's it. You're gonna still be on the ground, even though you're biting or stabbing. So
that's right.
You gotta have some kind of knowledge, man. So I don't know, man. I find it hard to believe that he's so ignorant against the ground.
Yeah.
He's still going hardcore, and he's still going hardcore on it, man. Like trying to prove his point.
Yeah, he's just making a fool of himself, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it's making himself, and I guess drawing guns and this and that, and it make you look like right there. You're drawing a gun. You don't look like a martial artist no more.
Right.
You do not look like a martial artist. You look like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Get lost your mind.
Yeah, I don't know if he appreciates that. Like, okay, say somebody attacks him and he shoots him. He might just go to prison, right?
Oh, no, he's gonna go to prison.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. First he's gonna go to court, and hopefully the jury there is a good one. I don't know, but he's gonna spend some time or pay some money.
Yeah.
Or something's gonna go down. So he's not gonna be like, oh, you shot the guy. Okay, you're free to go.
Right. Yeah. You go to prison, then you don't have your gun,
exactly.
and you're in prison.
Exactly. And actually, killing somebody you can say you can kill somebody, but it's not easy to kill somebody as you're saying it is. Like you're saying, oh, I can shoot somebody, and if I have to shoot, I shoot.
Right. Right.
You have to live with that for the rest of your life.
That's right. Yeah.
I know me. I've never killed anybody, and I'm looking to kill anybody, and I know that I wouldn't want to kill anybody. Right. That's not something I want my conscience the rest of my life, man.
No, that would scar your soul.
It'll scar your soul. It's like it's horrible, man. Too, that's not something that you want to do, man.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's just negative. If you want anything good out of life, you stay positive. You give negative feed, you don't get back negative feed.
Right.
That's what he was doing. He's giving negative stuff out, so he gets back pure negativeness.
That's right.
and it's tearing him apart, man. And
yeah, it's ruining his business. I mean, I don't know how he keeps going as it is, but he was making good money off of YouTube.
Yeah, I heard. I thought it was enough here, right?
Yeah, $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And then because of being who he is, that's all lost, right? And he just keeps pushing that. But I don't know. Like, I don't want to talk all about Freddie or anything, but for me, For
Of course not.
for me, when I look at, like, I know he's got stuff against jiu-jitsu. The reason he's got stuff against jiu-jitsu is, one, because he's got the homophobia thing,
Oh,
and then
okay.
also because he feels like the Gracies ruined the martial arts by introducing jiu-jitsu and marketing and selling to everybody, and all that change that happened in the 90s in the martial arts. He blames the Gracies for that, and he sees it as a negative change that has a negative influence on society, making us more violent and this kind of a thing.
Well, I mean, the ground game has been around for years. Yeah, 1983 is not the first time. It's been around a long time ago. There's
Right.
been vale tudo fights for years now. So
Right.
back in the 80s, back in the 70s, it's just that we never seen it. Just that we wasn't exposed to it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So.
Yeah.
And stand-up fighting is violent. Kickboxing is violent.
That's
Even
right.
the 1980s kickboxing, even Don the Dragon Wilson,
Right.
Benito Tarquitas, like all those guys, knockout punches, knockout spinning back kicks. It's violent, man.
Right. Yeah, and that, fundamentally, like, I don't really agree with him. Like, I see that there are people, like, now they're recording every once in a while. I see something on YouTube or Facebook or something where somebody has recorded a street fight, and the guys are trying to use, like, mixed martial arts. They don't know what they're doing, but they're trying to,
Well,
use.
what's happening now is that a lot of people don't have the fundamentals. They don't know the basics, and the basics start from standing up. You gotta know movement. You gotta know your range.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people are imitating mixed martial arts as it is now in the cage,
Right.
and that's a sport. That's completely different than actual fighting. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
Through the media, people are looking at it and say, "Oh man, okay, I'm just gonna fall on my back and go for a heel hook. Or I'm just gonna fall on my back and just jump and try and choke the guy and bring him down to the ground." It doesn't work like that.
Right.
Because there's concrete, there's hard floor outside. It's not padded, man.
Right.
And there's guns also, and there's weapons. So there is a lot of these guys don't understand, and that's why you see a lot of the fights in the UFC. A lot of it looks very awkward. It looks like the stand-up is it's bad. It's like horrible.
Right.
Kicking, the punching, it's just sloppy. And you have some guys who showcase it well. So that's what's going on right now with the sport. I mean, as far as people trying to use it for real life.
Yeah.
They just don't understand that you need to train the fundamentals. You need to train for years, actually.
Right. Yeah, it's not as easy. Just because you see something on TV doesn't mean you can do it.
I'm going to learn this in 2 minutes.
Right.
And I'm going to learn this in an hour, and I'm going to be perfect at it.
Yeah, exactly.
To work like that. It took me 35 years, no, 32 years, and I'm still learning, and it's still a journey, and I'm still learning, and I still haven't got it right yet.
Right.
I mean, what things? I mean, what do people think they're gonna learn it in 5 minutes or in a month? And you be good at it? I mean, you could understand it, but to truly, really know it in your heart, it's not gonna be there.
Right.
I mean, I did this for years, man. I've never stopped. Even when I was partying, I kept training.
Right.
I kept training. I trained straight for my 30 years, completely straight. The longest I took off training was maybe a month.
Right.
Training all my life, man. All my life. I competed. I got into fights. Fights I got into, I didn't really want to get into the fights, but some fights I couldn't help.
Right.
And some fights were brought on through, "Hey man, Kung Fu." I was like, "Yeah, you want to spar? Sure." And they were starting to spar, but then the sparring turned into a fight.
Right. Right.
You kick the guy in the face hard, and the guy doesn't like it.
Yeah, he gets
The guy
upset.
kick you back hard, so then you have to defend it in a way where you won't get hurt. It becomes a fight. So,
Right.
I mean, I was fighting big guys. I was like 14, 15 years old, fighting 35-year-old men.
Right.
At that time, which I am now, I had the speed against me. I was fast. I never had much power, so I could hit the guy fast and then get out the way.
Right.
So I had one fight. It was in my friend's house, I think, in the garage, and we were fighting. This guy that I knew, my friend knew. My friend is like, hey man, he knows kung fu, and he's trying to go into the UFC. This is back in '93. And he said, hey, you want to spar? So I'm like, sure, I know how to spar. Okay, let's all go in the garage and spar. So I went in the garage with him. Got into like a fighting stance and then started off. And my favorite kick was my lead roundhouse kick. So I landed a dead on. I had shoes on, I had boots on. Landed a dead kick to his face. Bam! And he didn't see it. And he stunned him and he stopped for a second. And I guess he got pissed off and he kicked over my head with an inside crossing kick. Then he grabbed me, and I had no ground game. He grabbed me, lifted me in the air, and slammed me on the concrete.
Oh.
And just start waiting on my face. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh, I didn't know what the hell's going on. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but it happened so quick.
Right.
You see, because I wasn't trained for that. I was trained more for point sparring.
Yeah.
So I was trained on land the kick and connect, then pause.
Right.
You don't understand the movement of your kick and you move out and you're in and out motion, your distance and your range. And I didn't really understand that. So I would hit, maybe move on a little bit, but anything after that, I didn't really understand.
Right.
Even handwork, like proper boxing, I never really understand that.
Yeah.
So that was actually my first wake up call there too. So that was pretty funny actually. So and then I had some high school fights. We had like back in high school we had like a little gym back there. We used to go back and spar each other. Like anybody that knew the martial arts would come together and then compete.
Oh yeah.
Kung fu, karate, taekwondo. We would all come together and would have like we had like a sparring match back there.
Oh yeah.
And we would. There was no gears. This was at lunchtime. At lunch break, everybody knew.
Right.
Come back to the school. And we were there, and it was like a ton of us, like 10, 15 of us. All of us line up and say, okay, you first, go. There's no gears, full on contact.
Wow.
A lot of guys got messed up knees. We would actually go to class bleeding. I would go to class with my whole hand middle like scraped off, my lip busted. I would sweaty. This was when around the UFC just came out.
Right.
And the UFC was out, and we were all like hyped up about the cage fighting, so we wanted to make our own fight. So
right.
So it was some good stuff. It was good because it's experience for me and it's a journey. And this is what I mean by in the martial arts, you need that journey.
Yeah.
To help you grow. And if you don't have those, if you just pick up the martial arts, learn a couple moves here and there, and learn a couple katas, but you don't really go through that journey of like, not really much of the competition, but sparring against different people. I fought against a ton of different people, different styles, different body weight, different body sizes.
Right. And
it helps me to open my mind, to know that the techniques I'm using, and I know when to use the technique, I know when not to use it.
Right.
So this is the thing when I mentioned about Freddie Lee. I'm not sure how long he has been training for. I know that he said something about he was in the University of Purdue for 10 years. He trained or something like that.
He was in Purdue while he was. I think like my understanding of what training Freddie has had is he wanted to go into high school, or he wanted to go into his high school basketball team. He was into basketball, but because he was so short, they didn't allow him on the team. Hey, like he didn't make the cut, and so he was all depressed. So his mom is pretty integrated in the community in Chinatown, and so she's the one that brought him to go get that training in Choi Li Fut.
Oh, okay.
And she knew the teachers, the instructors there, and he was there probably not even a year.
Oh, okay.
And then his mom had a falling out with that family, and so she pulled him out of there. And and at that point he started like really like he still really wanted to do martial arts, but he started studying Bruce Lee.
Okay, okay, I see, I
Yeah,
see,
then he starts kind of mimicking the Bruce Lee stuff,
I see, I
wanting to be
see.
Bruce Lee. And by the time he was in Purdue, he was in full Freddie Lee, Bruce Lee mode.
I see.
And so he started a martial arts club at Purdue,
Okay,
where he had guys with different martial arts backgrounds coming together to train with each other.
okay, okay.
And it sounded like that's where he got probably his most real martial arts experience, was
Okay,
training, because he had guys that were from all different styles and wrestling and this and that. That's where he tried jiu-jitsu.
oh,
Um,
oh,
he got ringworm actually, and
oh,
that was another thing that turned him off on it, because he's very cleanly kind of hygienic freak guy, you know.
okay,
Um, after Purdue, it seemed like he's just training by himself and bringing in friends, and like one of his frat brothers was his first one of his first students, and he was just training in his basement. And that's around the time that he was first he was kind of like he was training in his basement, but he wasn't taking on students, and he was working as a cop at the time
right, right,
at that Northwestern, and then he got fired from being a cop. That's when he started taking on students,
right,
and he was just staying home with the kids. Jenny had started a business, a restaurant, so he was going to be the stay-at-home dad. She was going to work, but things started picking up. He started the YouTube channel from Freddy's Modern Kung Fu, and that started gaining interest, for his people wanted to train with him.
right,
So then he kind of, and Jenny's business wasn't doing that good, so the building that she had, he kind of split it in half and decided he was going to make a kung fu school on the one side.
mhm,
She could keep the restaurant on the other side, but the kung fu school was the only thing that was generating any money. So eventually, she just went home to stay with the kids, and it just turned into a full-time kung fu school.
right. I mean, I'm not knocking his craft. I mean, he opened a school. I mean, to open a business is very hard. I mean,
Right.
it's not, the martial arts. That doesn't mean you can open a business. You need to have some businessman
Right.
minded. So, but as far as the training goes, I mean,
Yeah, his
that's
training background is minimum.
yeah, I can see that he's, he can do a lot of like poses, like push-ups. He can do what they call it, plank.
Right.
He's very good at levitating the body up in the air and holding it for a long time, which is good. His exercises are very good. I mean, I can see that it's like the fitness aspect,
Right.
but the martial arts aspect, I mean, to me, I see like everybody else is still in a learning process.
Yeah.
Still learning, and I mean that's just it. It's just learning still.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that would be okay if he would just admit that, like,
Yeah, you need to. Sometimes it's good to be honest with yourself.
Right.
You can't go through life just. As I said, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from my experiences, and I'm happy that I did. And I'm still learning. And you gotta be honest with yourself, and you cannot be ignorant towards certain things. You have to admit it sometimes. You go through life like that, you're gonna always have a hard time.
Right.
Always you have problems. And I finally got out of my problems because I became honest with myself, and I speak the truth, and I say it to people, and I say, hey, I was this way, I was that way, I was like this, I was stubborn, I was selfish, I was this, and then I admit it.
Right.
And it actually helped me. It made me a better person. So I just hope that one day he realized that, man. Don't push it too far, because it's going too far now, and hopefully you don't go too far overboard.
Yeah,
Hopefully
well,
he realizes it, man. Because I mean, as I said, I don't wish anybody bad, and I don't wish him any bad things. I wish the guy all the best, but I just see see somebody kind of needs help, man.
Yeah. Well, it's really it's what's going on with him is really a lot like an addiction because you see when it starts ruining your professional life, like it starts like negatively affecting your profession,
Yep.
negatively affecting your family, negatively affecting your social relationships and such.
Yep.
Then those are all like indicators that you got a problem.
I mean, I actually was like Freddie Lee at one time. That's the reason why I recognize it, because I used to be like that. I used to have that mentality.
Right.
Very arrogant, cocky, very, just, oh, I know everything. I'm the best in the world. And, I used to have Bruce Lee books. I mean, I still have Bruce Lee books. I mean, I used to read all the books. And, I mean, even though I had training behind it, but there was holes in my game that I needed to work on. I never really accepted that I needed to work on those. So
right.
I needed to be taught a lesson, and I was taught that lesson. Meanwhile, I mean, I even to a point where I even got broken ribs too. I got broken ribs too. I mean, there's a lot of times it takes certain things to
Right.
to like give you a wake up call in life,
Yeah, that's right.
So and you know that when you put yourself in certain situations, be prepared for the outcome of it, and sometimes it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
So if you're a martial artist, and you're talking this, you're talking that, and you're supposed to be be able to can defend yourself, be prepared, because one day it might come. So be prepared to defend yourself.
Right. Right.
You can talk. You can talk the walk, but what's that saying go again? You can talk the walk, but what? That saying.
You can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Right.
Yeah, exactly. You can talk, but can you walk the walk? Exactly, man.
Yeah, that's for real. Yeah. Well, the thing is too, like it's a choice. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to take such a negative stance. Like for me, I don't know if it's an ego thing or what, but for me, like I got no interest in ever being a cage fighter.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't have to call cage fighters down.
Exactly.
And actually, I feel indebted to them because what they do is it's almost sacrificial in a way because they test different things in full out fighting, and so much has been learned from that cage fighting in the last couple of decades.
Yep.
It's totally transformed the martial arts. So everybody that's involved in martial arts, whether or not you're actually cage fighting, is benefiting from what they're doing. They're helping everybody by revealing, what works under what kind of circumstances and this and that. And yeah, there's limitations to the cage. There's a lot of stuff you can't do in there. And that's the other thing too. Like I don't like when the cage fighters they mock people for saying that their techniques are too dangerous for the cage, because sometimes they are. Like when I watch UFC fights, a little nick in the eye with a thumb,
yeah, I see that too.
It can end. That can end the fight, and that's from somebody not even trying to hurt their eyes.
Exactly.
And that there's people that train to hurt your eyes,
But then there's a saying in the martial arts that you never think about poking the eye or biting, because if you think about it, it's not going to happen.
Right.
It goes for anything. You never think about what you're doing.
Right.
So probably that's why it hurts so bad, because the person that's doing it don't really think about doing it. So
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it really messes up. You can see it when somebody gets poked, like their whole eye swells up. It's bad,
Yeah.
So even something just as minor as that. So, like, yeah, there's limitation, and of course, there's all the different rules of what you can and can't do in there. That's true. But what you can do, like, we're learning a lot from that stuff, right? Learning a lot from their experiments
Yep.
in there. And so, like, for me, that's why I can appreciate the cage fighters. I don't have to be one, but I can really appreciate them for what they're like given to the martial arts by putting themselves on the line like that. I don't think it's fair when a cage fighter says, well, you know, everybody should have to fight, otherwise you don't know your techniques work or whatever. Because there's some people that are meant to fight, and there's other people that, you know, they're never meant to fight, right?
Well, from my perspective of the martial arts and growing up, I believe that you need to at least spar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At least exchange punches and exchange kicks and feel how it feels like to get hit. You need
That's
to
right.
feel what it feels like to get hit.
Yeah.
Because if you never know what a hit feels like, and you get a hit, it's going to be a big surprise to you. So you need to understand that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So it doesn't matter how you spar, or just exchange techniques at least, like kick each other's legs or practice the blocking techniques, practice how to counter.
Right.
You know, if you can do them with gloves, you know, you put on cups and mouthpiece. You can do it without no gloves if you want to, just as long as you exchange it.
Right.
You know. So.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Sparring is imperative, and that's where I think, like, you know, after what I grew up with, going to these other schools where there's not that much sparring, you can really see the difference, like.
Yeah.
In their abilities.
That was my big problem, because I always wanted to spar. I always wanted to spar. And I was always told, oh, practice the techniques. But techniques are important, because the techniques are used in the sparring. So understanding the katas, the forms, will help you when you're sparring. So that's very important. But to full-on spar is a good thing.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a recommended thing to do. And also, to sometimes do it with gear too.
Right.
So you can feel the hits, you know.
Right.
So, I know Freddie doesn't use gears.
Yeah, and I think that's crazy. Somebody will end up getting hurt one of these days without.
Hey, I mean, there's something called control. Like my brother and I, we don't use gears much, but we have control. We train for. My brother and I trained for years, as I said. So I can pull back the shots without hurting, or I can even hit him, and he knows how to counter the shot so he doesn't get hurt.
Right.
But, as even doing that, there's still a risk.
Yeah.
But they just haven't done it for so long. But as I said, I've trained with both, with no gears, and I've trained with gears.
Yeah.
Do I recommend gears? Yeah, I mean, when you're starting out to use the gears, it's good.
Right.
But for a real life situation, I would train without the gears, so you can understand the feeling of bare knuckles.
Right.
Or whatever, because having gloves on is like padding on your hand. So,
it is, yeah.
So when you punch somebody bare hand, it's different than if you have the gloves on. You're not gonna punch bare hand. You can break your hand.
Right.
If you don't know, what it feels like. And kicking without shin pads, kicking without any shoes on is a good thing too.
Right.
You can build up the shin, you can build up the instep. You build up your knuckles. So,
right.
Yep. That's the old school way, the 70s and 60s ways of training.
Right.
That's the way how my dad taught me. That's the kind of training my dad came from, with no gears, and would come up with broken toes. Dude, just from going to class and training. So.
Yeah. See, we always had at least minimal. We always had mouth guard, cup, shin guards, some gloves. Then it got to, like, there was a point in the I think it must have been the late 1980s where the gear got kind of overboard, where we had like headgear and we had like chest pads and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That was too much,
There's some stuff can limit your training too. Like some of the gears, the head gears, mess up your vision.
Yeah.
Like it's too in on your face.
Yeah, they used to the first those first headgears that were out. They were terrible. Like now, some of the new the headgear that I got right now, it doesn't limit you at all. It's really, really nice. But the gear that I grew up with was, it was terrible. Totally ruined your peripheral vision.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of those, and they would just fall off your head.
Yeah.
So like a stick, like a stick to the side. Yeah, but I had a whole bunch of them. You take a strap, someone like you take a strap from one side and strap to the other side.
Right.
I think actually I still have that headgear.
Oh, that.
But I never liked to wear a headgear. I never liked it. I just every time I have it in my head, I feel like my vision. Even it could be any headgear. I just feel like my vision was off. Like I wasn't in charge. I couldn't see my opponent.
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't see the techniques coming at me, so I could defend the right way. I
Right.
always had to have no headgear on. But yeah, man. But as I said, I had all the Bruce Lee books, which I still have, and I read every single one. I mean, through Bruce Lee philosophies, I learned a lot of stuff from him too, from his books,
Right.
stuff like that. But from reading Bruce Lee books and even his movies, I knew that, as I said before, that he was going towards Brazilian, even not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he was going towards Judo or Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
That's what he was going. The only reason why he didn't fully complete it because he passed away.
Right.
So if Freddie Lee really knew that, he should understand that Bruce Lee was for Jiu-Jitsu,
Right.
for wrestling, for Judo. He was for the ground. I don't know if that would change his mind or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, he'll never. He'll just never agree that was what was going on. When he looks at those films and stuff, and like he knows that Bruce Lee was learning those techniques, but Freddie's perspective is that he's learning those techniques because when you're exhausted and you can't fight standing up anymore, then you might use those.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you don't need to go there. Hey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His movies are choreographed. His movies are all choreographed.
Right.
It was choreographed in a sense of more like a realistic kind of way.
Right.
But it was still for show.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of that wasn't the real Bruce Lee, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's where Freddie gets messed up because he believes these movies.
Yeah. I can guarantee you Bruce Lee probably wouldn't even throw maybe even 60-70% of those kicks. He probably wouldn't even throw. He would probably just freaking punch you in the face and probably take you down and try to wrestle you probably. Because in a fight, it's a fight.
Right.
I mean, it's good to know the moves. I mean, up to me, don't get me wrong, but you gotta know what is realistic and what's not, man.
Right.
You need to understand that, man. Oh, man. Oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
Yep, that's pretty different stuff, man.
So your YouTube channel, like, it's mainly like an instructional, hey? Like.
Yeah, mostly instructional stuff I put on there. And also dance also. So, I mean, It's not kung fu dancing.
Right.
It's mostly like, like hip-hop, breakdancing, reggae.
Right.
Actually, dancing was one of my things back in the days, too. I actually learned some dancing also, which helped me a lot with my footwork.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So that was a big thing, the rhythm. I believe that you need to have a rhythm. You need to be able to move when you're fighting. You can't just stand in one place. I mean, you can and just use your elbows and protect your shots and put your hands up like a boxing.
Right.
If it's fine, you can do that. But I believe movement is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So dancing is a big thing of mine too. I used to go out and again challenge people in dancing. I used to battle people in dance. I used to go to parties and clubs and dance off with people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I have experience in dancing too. So I mean, this is not only one people. Like I'm talking about hundreds of people battling each other. We just dance all night and battle.
Right on.
I used to do that too. So I mean, so that's why I implement the dancing in there too. And then I have some stuff about eating also, like diet and nutrition. I explain, stuff you should eat and what you should eat, and for your health and stuff like that.
Right.
But because I actually had a problem with my health too. That's the reason why I changed the way I eat. So I was starting to get obese. I was starting to put on weight,
Oh yeah.
even though I was working out.
Yeah.
I was keep putting on weight, and I was on there, and I was saying to myself, "Man, I'm exercising like every day, and I'm still putting on weight." You know.
Yeah.
But then I was starting to realize. Then my girlfriend was telling me that it's not because you work out that don't mean you're gonna lose weight. It depends on what you're eating. Look on the food that you're eating. That's the reason why you can't lose that weight.
Right.
And I was eating like crap, man. I was eating everything, anything, everything I was eating. Doesn't matter what it was. Red Bulls, Monsters. I would mix all different kind of drinks, eat everything on the table, eat like 4 or 5 plates of food full of rice, steak. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's people that like that stuff. That's fine. I'm not knocking them.
Yeah.
But my body was starting to give out on me. And I think I reached maybe 30, 32. And I started having problems, man, like stomach problems, started having headaches.
Oh, yeah.
Started feeling sick, like putting on like 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm actually 6'1". I was like weighing like 200. I was like having, like my workout was getting slower. My body felt slow.
Yeah.
My flexibility was starting to leave me. I wasn't able to stretch as I used to. When I was younger, I was starting to lose that. I had all kind of problems. I was getting anxiety because of all that. Because I wasn't able to train like I used to. I was like, man, I can't. I'm trying to train like I used to, and I can't do it. My mind is not working right as I used to. And I was getting anxiety and all this stuff. And I had to go to doctor, get blood work done, checkups, and doctors like, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, man, I have stomach aches, I have like headaches, I have all type of problems, my body's breaking on me. And I talked to a herbalist doctor.
Oh.
And the herbalist doctor told me, he said, man, you ever tried to change your diet? Like eating differently? And I'm like, no. It's like, try instead of eating like chicken, like steak and chicken and beef and stuff, try to eat fish.
Right.
I was like, okay. And it's like, instead of eating rice and all that stuff, try to eat a salad. And, try to eat an apple. Because I never ate fruits. Just heavy food, like half-cooked steak, bloody.
Yeah.
That is all I used to eat. So the herbalist doctor told me, try to eat these different things. And I tried it out. And, for a little while, it was kind of hard because it was kind of hard to give up, like, chicken for fish and give up the steak and the pork.
Yeah.
It was hard to do that, so I had a hard time doing it, man. And I started to research more about different foods to eat. Like, I started looking into juicing and smoothies, like what I see you're doing.
Right.
Doing the smoothies, I started looking into different stuff I could try. And I started making smoothies and juicing, and then I started working out again. And eventually, after a while, I started to see the weight start to drop. And I was like, oh, this look like it's working. And the weight started to fall, And I started working out, started losing 10 pounds. And I also did some fasting also. I also fast for a little while also.
Oh, yeah.
I actually fast on maple syrup and salt and water. Maple syrup, sea salt, and water.
Oh, yeah.
Which is called a master cleanse. I'm not sure if you heard about that.
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah, so I fasted for a little while, and I lost like 10 pounds. I was like down to 185. Kept on doing it, kept on juicing, and after a while I started giving up chicken. I started giving up fish too. I started giving up all this stuff, just veggies and fruits and nuts and seeds.
Right.
And I went down to 165 pounds.
Oh.
And I starting to feel like different. My body, my mind started to feel different. Everything started to come back. I felt like I was 12 years old again. My flexibility came back even more.
Gee.
I started to do yoga. I started to implement yoga into my workouts,
right.
Just to build up my mind, build up my body. And it just eventually, after a while, I just came back, man. I came back to myself, and I found myself again, man. So it was a good feeling, man. Everything just come right back around, man. Like now I feel like I'm like 12 years old again, man. And I'm 36 right now.
Right.
But I'm going to be 36 in April. So I'm actually 35. I'm going to be 36. But I feel like I'm like 12 years old again, man. Like my body.
Right.
Very, And I'm 3 years on it right now. 3 years eating clean. There's no liquor, no drugs, you know.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, no, it's like it's pretty surprising what a change in nutrition will do
oh yeah,
for you
it,
or against you, you know?
it does major difference. I would never expect it to do this much for me. I never expected because I was always eating one way. I never took a chance to look at the other side of things that maybe cutting out this, cutting out that will help my will help my diet. I never thought of it like that. Just kept
Right.
on eating all the heavy foods, all eating all the heavy starches.
Right.
So, and I wasn't really drinking much. I wasn't drinking much Coca-Cola or nothing like that, or any stuff like that, or any the carbonated drinks.
Yeah.
But I was drinking like the Red Bull and the Monster, and I was drinking alcohol. So there was a lot of sugar in that.
Oh yeah, the alcohol, big time.
That was putting on the weight on me. So,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had a similar experience because last year I went up, last winter in December 2013, I was 208 pounds, which is that was the most I've ever weighed in my life. Right now I'm 171.
Wow.
So,
what's your height?
5'11".
5'11"? Okay, man, you lost a little weight.
Yeah, I
Wow.
lost a bunch.
Oh,
That was mostly nutrition and then lots of running. But
yeah, because you run a lot.
yeah, but the nutrition is an important part of it.
Oh, of course.
Like
Yeah, of course.
yeah, like even with all my running and stuff, I couldn't really get rid of the belly that was there from drinking too much.
Yeah, the running is a big thing. I usually I run and I jump rope.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure if you jump rope. You doing a jump rope?
I used to do a lot more. I don't so much right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I used to do it switch off and on days. I'd run one day and jump rope the next, and run one day and jump rope the next.
Right.
You know.
I'm telling you, man, the way you're eating now, you won't have to train as hard.
Yeah.
It's good to train hard, but you won't have to kill yourself to lose weight because
Right.
you're already eating right. And the most important thing is what you put in your body. So your body is just gonna balance out. So you're gonna stay at 170. You're just gonna sit there.
Right.
That's
Yeah. Well, I went like 3 weeks ago. I weighed 180.
Oh yeah! Oh wow!
So yeah, so I've lost like 9 pounds, and this is 19 days on the diet.
Right, and your detox diet, right?
Right.
Okay, that's good, man. That's very very good.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see whether it's going to bottom out here in the 70s or whether it's going to go into the 160s. I haven't been in the 160s for a long time.
Well, I'm actually 170 now.
Yeah.
I've dropped to 165, but the reason why I dropped to 165 because I was just detoxing. I wasn't eating
Right.
at all. Like I stopped eating for like one day. I just detoxed on lemon water.
Right.
So, and then I worked out. So I was just sweating everything out. So I got to 165. But if I'm like, doing my juices, doing my fruits, and doing my smoothies, I just stay at 170. I don't
Right.
go above, I don't go below. So there's a point that you're going to reach. If you keep on doing what you're doing, you're going to stop at that one spot. Like you won't go no lower than that.
Yeah, you're gonna get to where you're supposed to be, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And then the only way that you're going to go lower if you change something that's in your diet. Maybe if you cut out, I don't know, meat or something.
Right.
And then you're going to see a little more difference.
Right.
So I mean, it's a good thing, man. I mean, a lot of people, they think I'm crazy. They're like, oh man, you're a madman. I go to these dinners all the time with my girlfriend, and they like look at me like I'm crazy, like I'm not from this planet. Like I'm from somewhere else. Like, man, you don't eat, you don't drinking tea. Like you're crazy. You're gonna die, man. You're gonna die. I'm like, it's been 3 years. I haven't died yet. I actually almost died back then when I was eating everything.
That's right.
I had to pull my way out of it. I don't know how I did it, but I mean, my girlfriend helped me, though. But, she helped me to carry me along, to keep my mind, just try to tell me good stuff in my head that I was going to be all right and all this stuff. But, man, it's hard, man. It's hard when you're stuck, man, and you don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
It can be a big problem, man.
There's habits.
Yup. The food is an addiction, man.
Yeah, it is.
Addiction, man. It's addiction, man, I tell you.
Yeah, but you can break a habit. You just got to be willing to do it,
Yep. You gotta do it, man. A lot of people, they will only do it when something bad happened to them.
Right. That's
the
right.
only time they will change. If oh man, we gotta take your liver out, we gotta take your we gotta take some kidney out, and we have to take your brain out. Something like that. And they're like, oh man, okay, I'm gonna start juicing now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me, I had to wait till something happened to me because I was stubborn. Because I'm a stubborn person. I don't listen to anybody. I like to do what I want to do. Right. So I had to learn again the hard way. So I mean that is the only way I learned. Something bad happened to me.
Right.
So I'm thinking of tooth knocked out. I gotta get submitted.
Get some broken ribs and stuff.
Get broken ribs.
Yeah.
I have to get kicked in the head 600 times. And so, yeah, so. But yeah, man. I mean, that's a good way to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is like we learn from mistakes, right? Like if you didn't make mistakes, you wouldn't learn very much in life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And some of those mistakes you're learning will take you all the way through your journey, make you even a better person than you are, man.
Right.
And sometimes it's better that you learn that way. It make you a master.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's right.
So you know what? I've been through all that. I've already been through that, and I know how it feels like.
Yeah, you can speak from experience.
Yeah, from experience.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the martial artists who claim that the martial artists are lacking the experience.
Right.
It's like for you, you have experience. You already started from a young age, and you travel your journey path. You stop for a little while, you get back into it. You stop, you get back into it.
Right.
But you traveled it, and you understand it, and you understand the concept of it.
Yeah, it's surprising. Like once, I don't know if it's this way for everybody, but even when I wasn't doing martial arts, the breaks that I took, it's always bugging you.
It does bug you. It haunts you. It's like,
yeah, that's right.
I think that I have demons that attack me. Like it's like, and that's my main problem. I always want to train. And it's like something that it's like a fire inside of me that's burning. It's like I just can't get away from it.
Right.
It doesn't matter what I do. It just haunts me, man. Even at night, I used to lay down. I mean, now I kind of calmed down a little bit because that was part of my help. Also, was I need to take a rest. I need to stop slaying the dragon. I need to stop like in fight mode. I need to relax. So I was always in fight mode.
Right.
And that was my main problem too. Being in fight mode all the time, I burnt myself out. Like emotionally, mentally, I burnt my body out. And physically, I burnt my body out also.
Right.
So that was my problem also, why I had anxiety and I had all these problems. So, and that was from doing, I'm not blaming the MMA school or the mixed martial arts, but I wanted so much to be a cage fighter. I wanted so bad in my heart to I knew my mind wasn't there, but I wanted so bad that I would train for like 4 or 5 hours. Then I would go home and train again.
Yeah.
Go to bed and I put on the videos to see the jiu-jitsu, to learn some new techniques, and it would never turn off.
Right.
24 hours it was on.
Right.
And I did this 24 hours for 5 years, 24 hours on. And then I just burned myself out.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, too much for your body. There's time to rest, which yoga taught me. There's time to meditate. Meditation is very important. A lot of people don't meditate. When I mean meditate, I mean not meaning that you're going to go on your knees and you can meditate by just laying down for a while, taking 15 minutes. Just close your eyes.
Right.
And that could be meditation too. Just rest in the body, man.
Yeah.
Take a rest.
Yeah. Big
I
time.
never knew how to rest. Never know how to rest. And it finally caught up with me. So, yep. I probably train now. I train maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh yeah.
There's sometimes I might go for 4, but I don't push it. But my trainings sometimes can be intense. Sometimes I go 2 hours, 3 hours training.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of, and then while I'm training, I just videotape while I'm doing it.
Right.
So, but it's cut down. It's cut down a lot because I used to go every day.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I train something every day, but I don't. Not every day is an intense training. Hey.
Right. Exactly.
Like I might do just a little bit here, a little bit there. The 3 nights a week that I've got guys here, then I train a little bit more diligently.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, throughout the week, every day I just do a little bit of something. I might go running one day, and then do a little bit of this or that, but I don't go overboard.
I make sure I get my running in. I make sure I get my jump rope. I make sure I get because I used to lift a lot of weights, but I don't really lift much weights anymore. I just do basically push-ups, pull-ups. I do a lot of ab work. I work my abs a lot.
Oh yeah.
The core is very important.
Right.
That's where everything is from. All the power comes from there. Also from your feet up. But that's where you get all the power from. So I make sure that's very tight.
Right.
And I work on flexibility. Flexibility, I work a lot.
Yeah, see, that's one of my shortcomings. I don't work flexibility enough.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Very important. That will help your movement easier, make your flow easier. You can move around. You can do your footwork become more fluent, be easier in your movement, and you won't get injured as much. Your injury will be limited. You won't get any groin injuries or hurt knees because your body's so flexible. You can pull through all that. So, but that's what I work on most. So